and we're preparing to live stream this. So it's redirecting, and it's perfect. Okay. And the meeting has got it. We'll try to record on premise on my computer in case there's issues. And I'm recording. And then welcome. Okay. So welcome for this evening. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a review for the exam that we're going to be having in 2 days, in Wednesday. As I mentioned before, our class for the most part is online, but our exams are in person. So it's lovely that we'll be able to meet each other in person this Wednesday in the School of Business, room 204. We'll be starting at 5:05. I'll be having the exam, so I suggest you get there at be at your seats at 5 o'clock so we can start our exam on time at 5:05 and we're ready to go. You'll need to bring with you a pictured ID. Of course, everybody brings your phone, but you'll need your phone in order to log into Blackboard and to Respondus. There'll be 2 parts to the exam. One part will be multiple choice. There'll be about 60 questions there. Once you finish, you can go back and forth on it, and it is closed notes, no books, no other resources. You'll take the multiple choice, and once you submit the exam, you have 1 try, and you cannot try again. The second part is open-ended questions. There'll be 2 questions. You'll be shown both questions. You can decide whether you want to do the first question or the second question. You can go back and forth on those open-ended questions. Once you submit, that's it. So you cannot go back and forth on this. Also, based on what some people want, you can start with the open-ended questions and then go on to the multiple choice, or you can go to the multiple choice first and go on to the open-ended. I figure, why not give you the choice of how you'd like to do it? Everybody clear on that? So we're set on that. Any questions before I begin the review? Any generic questions that anybody has those studied? Number 1. Number 2, and this is Spencer, you want to make sure we do. So let me just share my screen. And in my screen here, let me go to Blackboard. You see your lovely faces here, including myself. And now let's go to J, and let's go to announcements. Everybody go to the announcements, and there's a couple of things I want to announce. One is, of course, the exam is in person in March 6th, and the review sheet is in under the What's Due tab. So this one right here, the NinjaTrader backtest and optimization assignment that's due today, I am extending it to midnight tonight. Also, by speaking with a couple of the students here, I see there's a confusion here. So I want to make sure that we qualify it. And what I've decided to do was, after my next class, I'm going to have a session if you're having problems with this exercise. At 7:50 p.m., click on this link and you'll be going into the end of my next class. And if you have problems with this exercise that's due today, or if you have additional problems that you wanted to make clear, Audrey, just like you were saying before about the back test and the optimization, you can come at 7:50 to do that. This is for people doing it. So I think I want everyone to do well. Also, why am I extending it to midnight? Is that I want to make sure that everybody understands if they've had any issues. One little mistake, sometimes everything's easy when you know it. So I'm going to be available. I'm extending my office hours to this time at 7:50, and I'll stay probably, I don't think it'll take more than an hour, because once anybody needs to know how to do it, we can do it in a couple of minutes. Okay? Any questions about that? So anybody, and also if you miss me, you can come and look at me again. Okay? So it's been an hour since you haven't seen me. Okay, so we have that. So if you look at what's due, in the what's due section, there's a couple of things that we need to look at that what's due. Today is, we had, just to make sure that you understand, Wednesday, we had a backtesting assignment, a trading strategy assignment, where we used a trading strategy called SMA, and that stands for sample moving average crossover. There's two SMA sample moving averages. One is at 10 periods and the other one is at 25 periods. And I asked you to look at one symbol. Pick one symbol and pick that symbol and submit it if you can get it to be positive overall. If it is not positive overall, then try and pick another symbol. You'll have hundreds and hundreds of symbols that you can choose from. So each person had to pick a symbol that had to be profitable. They had to use the NinjaTrader platform with end of day data. So our data period was end of day, and we had to back test for a year. So what does back testing mean? Back testing, if I look at it, is looking at the past with historical data to see how well a strategy worked. And in this case, we took that sample moving average crossover sample that was built into NinjaTrader. That was a strategy with rules. One moving average was at 10 periods, the other was 25. Since we were using end of day data, it was end of day 10 and 25. We exported that strategy to Excel, and then we uploaded to the audit group, where you gave your full name, the ticker name and symbol, and gave the strategy name and the parameters of we all used the same strategy, which was SMA 1025. And we looked at the net profit percentage. We need to make overall, we needed to make it positive. We looked at the longs and short trades. Some people's short trades were negative. Some people's long trades were negative, but overall it had to be positive. You gave it the date range, and it should have been 365 days we looked at. The one that's due today, we used another method. Here we used a chart, and we looked back, tested, and we could see when it crossed over, we could see, was it in the past, was it profitable or was it not profitable, each of the trades it took. For Monday, today, this is due on midnight. I'm changing the time frame. This is due on midnight. So those that you have not completed or want to go back and do a better job or a more complete job can look at it. We looked at something called Strategy Analyzer. Strategy Analyzer can analyze, and in here we did two things. We back tested and we optimized. Back test both of these, and back test says, let's look at the history and see, had we implemented this strategy, SMA 1025, how well would we have done? Now, at this point in our previous exercise, for instance, Audria, we chose one symbol. And if this symbol was not that great in terms of overall, what did I say to do? Pick another symbol. So you could say, okay, I picked, let's say, Microsoft. Now I'm going to pick Apple. And that wasn't so great. And now I'm going to pick, what else do I know? I'll pick Adobe, and maybe I'll pick NVIDIA. And you keep on doing trial and error. Based on this trial and error, let me just go here. Let me even start here. Based on this trial and error, we use this strategy for what we call algo trading. We have rules for what we call algo trading. And the strategy we're using, this built-in rules, basically here is when we enter it, it tells us when we're going to enter a trade, when we're going to exit a trade, and we're using the sample, what's built into this NinjaTrader platform. The SMA is the simple moving average of 1025. Questions? So in this, any questions on that, Ava, in the chat?
No.
Okay. We have two, Ava, we have two moving averages. We have a sample moving average of 10-day period, and we're using days. Why are we using days? Because our connection, you remember that, Audria? Our connection was end of day. You remember that, Audria? So we're using, could we have used 5 minutes? Yes. Could we have used a minute? Yes. We could have used tick, but we're just doing days because it's simpler. That strategy was built in NinjaTrader, and we chose the sample MA crossover strategy. The rule for this strategy is when we have strategies, trading strategies, the whole idea is we say it's rule-based. It could be complicated or it can be simple. In our sense, we have two sample moving averages, 110 period, 125 period, and this is the rule that's built into our trading strategy. And that reads, if the SMA fast, and among these, what's considered fast, 10 or 25? Samuel?
The 25.
What? What is considered fast? What takes us a quicker amount of time to average up? 10 periods or 25 periods?
The 10.
10. Since 10 is lower than 25, that's called quick. That's called fast, comparatively. So we say if the SMA fast, and in this case it's 10 periods, crosses above the SMA slow, and in this case, then buy. The rule doesn't tell the periods because guess what, Samuel? Later on, we can change these periods. Do you understand that, Samuel? So in this case, we want to say if the SMA fast crosses above the SMA slow, then what do we want to do? We want not what we want to do. What do we want the computer to do? We want the computer to buy, enter the trade. Else, if the SMA crosses below, the SMA fast crosses below the SMA slow, this was above, now this is below, then we're going to short in our case. But we could have changed it later on to exit or just sell. Questions, Samuel? Yes,
I think
no?
there's Arnold has a question.
Arnold, what's the question?
Yeah. So why is it that you sell when the fast crosses over the slow? Why not?
This is what the system purported to do. Because there was a trend, because we usually find that in practice, when the SMA fast crosses above the slow, it means that there's the trend, because this is in a shorter period of time, the trend is going up. That's why. Does that answer your question, Arnold?
Yeah, I got it.
There could be more comment. This is what's built in, but the reason they chose it, and it's a great question, Arnold, the reason they chose it is when the SMA fast crosses above that slow, it means that there seems to be, in a quicker period of time, we can see that it's going higher up. This is a shorter period of time that we can see the trend is going up. This trend's up. And why does it cross below? Is it seems now the trend is going down and we get out. We can see in this system what it turned out to be, Arnold, is it was usually right, but it stayed too long in the trade. In the shorts, it was going in the right direction, but it stayed too long.
So you use the SMA fast just kind of like as a way to predict where the slow is going to go?
Yeah, or where the fast, you're using the SMA fast to predict, to look at the trend and say, hey, I want to buy. Comparative.
All right.
It's basically, is it trending? We're trying to do it based on past experiences. We can kind of say when we see a trend going up, we say, hey, we want to catch that wave. It's almost like surfing. Have you ever gone surfing, Arnold? But you can imagine, right? You don't want to go at the end, right? And you can't surf when it's just flat, right? But when it starts going up, then that's when you want to catch the wave, right?
Yeah, I get that.
So, excellent question. So, what do we do with back testing? Back testing means we're going to test that strategy that we used, and this may be a lousy strategy, Arnold, or it may be a good strategy, or it may have been good 6 months ago, or it may not be good for this symbol. We want to back test that strategy. We're going to go back in time with historical data. And for our example, how many days did we go back in time?
365.
365. We went for a year.
Yeah.
Could we have gone a month? Yes. Could we have gone 2 months? Yes. We just made it, since we have end of day. If we had tick data or minute data, maybe we would have just done a month. Because what we find out with statistics is the more data we have, the better we can forecast. You understand? So we're just choosing 365 because we're doing end of day. That was arbitrary. And I said for myself, let's look at a year. But we could have done year to date, right? Since now we're in March, we could have done from January 1 to March. Once we did this, then we checked for the performance of what? We just checked the performance for one symbol. And what was our goal? Our goal, of course, is to be profitable. I don't want to be not profitable. Of course, we want to be profitable. That's why I said, in order to get credit for that first example, you want to look for, at least try to pick and choose, find something that's profitable. It may not be profitable for all my longs and shorts, but overall, we got to have something profitable. Otherwise, we'll pick something different. This symbol that we pick, whether it's MSFT or F for Ford or whatever, is what we call in our text, what we call primary key. And what's a primary key? Who can tell me what a primary key is? We need to know that for the exam. So in this case, Roberta, what's a primary key?
I don't know. I need to look it up.
And right. Isn't that great? And you all need to look it up, because guess what, Sam? It's going to be on the exam. And if you don't know what it is, you're in trouble. So look it up. And you can look it up with the Wiley. You can look it up with anything. What do we mean by primary key? Paige, what does it mean by primary key?
I'm looking it up right now. It says that it is a column in a relational database table that's distinctive for each record. I don't really know
Yes.
that.
So what does that mean? And I'll tell you what that means, and you'll know exactly what it is, Paige. Paige, I don't see your face well, so if you can adjust your camera so I can see you completely. Great. What it means is this. Let's think about this way, Paige. I have a spreadsheet, right? That's like a table. A sheet is a table, right? We can think about it. And I have 4 columns. I have C number, first name, last name, test 1. And let's say, Paige, your record number, your row number 3, so you are record 3. A row is the same thing as a record. Sometimes it's called an entity. So what's a primary key among those? I give you that. That's a good test question for Wednesday. I give you a test, a day, basically a grade, my grade book, C number, first name, last name, test 1. What's the primary key there?
C number.
Yes, I asked Paige, but that's good. We get all the help we can at. We help each
Sorry.
other now. No, that's fine. We help each other now. On the test, guess what, Paige? We do it by ourselves. So good. So it's basically what? Unique. You know that, Paige. If I need to define Paige Manning, there may be another, even though you have sort of your name is not super common, but there could be another Paige Manning, right? And maybe even a Paige Mackenzie Manning. But what it will be unique is that C number. You are the only one to have that C number. So that is what the primary key, and is a symbol of, for Microsoft. Then if I think about it, Zachary, that symbol is at a primary key. Why is that considered a primary key? Zachary, John.
I'm not sure.
What's a primary key? Did you look it up?
Is it
Something
because
that's
no one else
unique.
has the name?
Unique. So why is a symbol? What's a symbol? What symbol did you use for your homework, Zachary?
Tesla.
Tesla. And what is the symbol for it?
Oh, like the TSLA. Whatever it
TSLA.
is.
Is that unique? Can another company use TSLA?
No.
So now you know what primary key is. You knew it before. You just weren't associating, right? You're smart, right? You knew that before, right? But primary, that's what the word primary key is. It's unique in order to find Tesla's information for its record. So once I had that goal of, I picked what we did for our first exercises, we picked and choose by trial and error. Then, Audria, what do we have is I said to you, Audria, it is not efficient for us as human beings to start picking and choosing thousands of symbols. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. So what we used was strategy analyzer, and you can put this in your notes. Under strategy analyzers, we could look at several symbols and back test. What does that mean? Look at a certain strategy. And which strategy could we look at? What was our strategy called? SMA 1025. And that was built into NinjaTrader having these rules. We used strategy analyzer and we back tested, and we did it using a select number of symbols, like NASDAQ 100. So for Dow 30 and Dow 30, Luke, is how many symbols did we look at?
We looked at 30 symbols.
Look at that. Now it seems so simple, doesn't it?
Mhm.
We looked at 30 symbols, right? And instead of you going through 1, 2, 3, 4, looking at the performance, going through it, let it figure out 30 symbols using one strategy, the SMA 1025. That means what? We have two moving averages, one for 10 periods and one for 25. So we use 30, or we use 100, or we use 500. And in this case, Audrey, what do we want to do? We wanted to find what? What are we looking for? The highest performance, the highest net profit. So we want to do what? We wanted it to be in descending order, so we could have to our spreadsheet, we could have the tops on the top, just like I would say, you know what, in the next exam, I want to sort in ascending order, so I want to see what were my top student scores. Just like it, it's the same idea. Questions? So the next part, so that's back testing. So what is back testing? Back testing is looking back in time, just like the word, using what kind of data? Historical data, to see how well that strategy that we used, how well it did. Because in the future, we're assuming, in this case, we may not be right, that if it did well in the past, we think it may do well in the future. We don't want to pick a loser to begin. That's all what backtesting is. And then they'll see that sometimes backtesting doesn't work because we finished that cycle or something. What happened, what was good 2 years ago is not good today. So what we wanted to do is, once we did this, we tried to pick and choose. We used the strategy analyzer for backtesting. We also could use a strategy analyzer for what we call, and put this in your notes, optimization. And what do we mean by optimization? We used, remember back here, we used 1025. Ten periods, Samuel, and 25 periods. What about Samuel? What would happen if we did 925 or 825 or 725? What if I did a range where I can consider, for instance, my fast is a range, and I could give it a range. Let's say my range would be from 5 to 10. and my slow from, let's say, 25 to 30. And I asked you to test that in this case, Julia. It would mean, what would you test? You test one that would say fast. You would test one that would say what? SMA what? 525. Then you would test another one. What? 526. And then you would test another one. 527. Everybody got it to what? To 30. Then you would want to test what? 625. 626. Can you imagine how tedious is all those combinations, Julia? So what I can do on optimization is different. Put this in your notes. Optimization is different from back testing in the way it looks at a range and it looks at all the different combinations. I can use it on the same symbol, or I could use many symbols. So find me, let's say the Dow 30 is how many stocks, Julia? How many symbols? Dow 30. How many?
30.
30 in all these different possibilities, and find me what? The most profitable, the highest net profit. So optimization looks at a range and displays all possible combinations, and I can sort it by net profit. And usually what do I want to do? I want to sort it in descending or ascending. I want to do it in a way that in descending, I want the top to rise to the top. And I want to take those that are the top symbols, and then I can proceed. And that's why, Audrey, this later on, and how can you improve it, is basically say, use up from that last assignment, from last week, how could you improve it, is basically look at optimization or strategy analyze and backtesting and find me the best symbols rather than trial and error. I want to work efficiently, and that's the beauty of the computer. And later on, what we will do with artificial intelligence, what it will happen is artificial intelligence will train it. And what are we training it? Find me the net profit, the largest net profit, and it will find the patterns. And maybe this SMA, like Arnold said, this SMA sucks. Excuse my French, for these types of ones. And the artificial intelligence can find me a better one than this SMA rule, this SMA strategy, the sample moving average. You can find something more creative that works that works just for Tesla. They can do better forecasting for Tesla, because what is it? It's not to be, everybody can look in the past and say, oh, this is where I should have bought. Look for the low point, say, I'm going to buy low and I'm going to sell high. It's easy. It's just like when you made a mistake, right? It's easy to look back and say, oh, I shouldn't have gone with that boyfriend or girlfriend. They were a loser, had I known, right? Have you all been with that, right? That you said to yourself, hey, I should have gotten out of that a long time ago, but you didn't know beforehand, right? So maybe now you'll look at those characteristics and you'll have AI maybe pick for you. Who knows? Okay. Next, that'll be another thing that we'll do. Okay. So if I go, everybody got that review sheet? Everybody knows where the review sheet is? Jonah, you know where the review sheet is? Did you get it? Did you download the review sheet, Jonah?
I have not, just been taking notes.
Okay, but have you, so you need to find the review sheet. So that's the first thing you need to do, Jonah. Where's the review sheet? It's in the what's due section, and you'll look at the what's due section. And you'll see on March 6th, you'll see a review sheet. Did you get that, Jonah?
Yeah, I got it.
Did you download it?
Yep.
Okay. Sam, you have it? Okay. So if I look at the what's due section and I find my review sheet, this is my review sheet that the exam will cover chapters 1, 4, 5, TG1, TG2, plus data and automated trading systems. The exam is on Wednesday, March 6th. It'll take place in the SBA204 PC lab. We have to be there in time. You have to be sitting in front of the computer. You want to bring a pictured ID. You want to bring your laptop with Respondus installed in case we have any problem with the PCs in the lab, and bring your phone. And you can download the PPT automated trading and then under PowerPoints, and there'll be 2 parts. We talked about it. There'll be 2 parts. There'll be multiple choice, true, false, 1 part. There'll be 60 questions and 2 open-ended questions. The open-ended questions will cover the exercises that we did. You have to show. You can see here, these are terms that you need to know, right? And you can find these. Where can you find these? Basically, you can find them on the PowerPoints, and under the PowerPoints, you can see under notes. I'll also, where you can see those, let me do this. Go to Wiley Plus. And under Wiley Plus, for instance, you have these are the chapters, chapter 1, TG1, TG2 software, chapter 5, and chapter 4. Turn this on so you can see. So these are the chapters that you need to do. So for instance, an example, then Jonas, if you click on hardware, did you click on hardware? Are you with me where I am?
Yes.
Okay, so let's even think about, doesn't matter where we can start from the beginning. And if I click on the beginning here, you are here. I can see here the strategic hardware issues. I see here about the mainframes. And these are our hardware that we talked about. Remember, we talked about the CPU. You need to know what the CPU does, the input, the output, computer memory, primary storage. Remember, we talked about primary storage. This is important to know. Under primary storage, as it's sometimes called main memory, is that it's going to be volatile or non-volatile. Roberto, primary storage is volatile or non-volatile? For the most part, when I think about my random access memory, when I think about RAM, is that volatile or non-volatile? Roberto?
Is it non-volatile?
We have to remember, in random access memory, when I have a software, it resides, let's say I downloaded a piece of software, I downloaded this PowerPoint. I did PowerPoint, let me just find. I did PowerPoint right here. I have PowerPoint right here. It resided on Blackboard. I downloaded it to my computer in secondary storage, and now I loaded it whenever, and then put this in your notes. Whenever you're using software, you are taking it for your secondary storage and bringing it into RAM. Part of RAM, one of the things that's part of RAM is called random access memory. It's a part of primary storage that holds the software program and small amounts of data processing. It is volatile, meaning that when I turn off my computer and I've made some changes and it hasn't been saved yet, I will lose those changes. There's something called cache memory, which is also another type of primary storage, which is a type of high-speed memory that, and then in this case, temporarily stores blocks of data that are used more often in that process. And it's closer to the CPU than RAM. So sometimes, have you ever seen, for instance, Roberta, when you're typing, let's say into Google, it'll come up with something that you've typed before? Roberta, have you ever
Yeah.
seen that? That's a lot of times in cache. It comes up so quickly that it knows it's kind of like temporary. It's kind of like anticipating what you'll have. That's part of cache memory that's so quick. But anytime you're going to be using any software, when I'm doing like Word or PowerPoint, that's going to be used in RAM. That's why when we were talking about it before, when we wanted to do what? That NinjaTrader, basically we were using the RAM of that server in the cloud. So what you want is, let me just put this back on. If you're going through the PowerPoints, what will be good for you is you'll see under the PowerPoints, under the notes, if you make this a little bit larger, you'll see also definitions. So for some of these PowerPoints, you can see here the definition. This I can make smaller or larger depending. So you can make that smaller that you can do. As I said, Jonah, when you were in Wiley Plus, you have this information, but sometimes what's easy, what I suggest you do is just go to the technology guide glossary. So when you see something in the study guide, you can see it here as well. So you see here on cache memory, it tells you about the CPU, it tells you about the random RAM, it tells you about the read only, it tells you about a register. So that's that part. So basically, you can think about is going through all of these, right, of primary. And now already, right, Iris, you ready when you see what's a primary key? You know a primary key means what? If I gave you C number, first name, last name, and test, you would know which one was the primary key, right, Iris?
Yeah, it would be the
Which
C
is
number.
what?
The C number.
Yeah, anything that's unique to find your record, right, of Iris. And then I could find your test, because test one is not going to be, there could be other people that got 98 on the exam other than you, right? So you can see here the other part. So this is the multiple choice. Up to here will be multiple choice. And where will it be similar? It'll be similar to the quiz questions that when you had twice to do it. Iris, you did those quiz questions, right? You can click on your grade and you can review those quiz questions that you had before. Plus, you can go to, you remember at the end of the Wiley Plus, hardware. You remember you did the adaptive assignment? Did you do the adaptive assignment, Iris?
Yeah.
Right above that, for every chapter, you have flashcards. So if you click on flashcards, and you can choose then whatever chapter we're going to cover, and I go to where for a quiz, I go here for the quiz. This tells me computers that support networks, enabling users to share files, software, and other network devices. If I said, what is it? Magnetic disk, registers, server, or control, let me say server, and I submit, it tells me if it's correct. If you see here, I can do then, I have another place to do another, in this case, I'll say, okay. I have a chance to in this case, go to the next question. And it says a form of secondary storage, right? It's not primary, in which a laser reads the surface of reflective plastic power. Then in this case, it's not going to be primary storage, right? Because we're talking about secondary storage. And then in this case, it's not going to make magnetic tape. So I'm going to just try this one. And let's say I said magnetic tape. Then I can submit and it tells me. Okay, so this is another way in which you, besides the multiple choice that you've done for the ones that you had twice to do, you can go through these flashcards. The other thing that you need, then, I've given you that. The other thing that you need is you need to read these web links. One is about automated trading systems, the pros and the cons, about basic algorithm trading concepts, the idea of what, Audria? Backtesting and optimization. What is a moving average, right? You remember we talked about a moving average. We talked about a fast moving average. So Arnold, when you ask that excellent question, it's the idea of what is a fast moving object and what's a slow moving part. And then we have, these are examples of what open-ended questions I could ask. What are automated trading systems? What are the advantages and disadvantages? What is a simple moving average? What is its purpose? What are the characteristics of backtesting and optimization in automated trading systems? Give examples of trading rules and strategies we used in class for backtesting and optimization. Define an algorithm and algorithmic automated trading systems. How does it differ from manual? Describe the pros and cons of automated trading system and give examples you use from the NinjaTrader platform. Define big data. And here's about the simple moving average. So here you can see an example of those automated trading systems, the pros and the cons. What's an automated trading system? Right, and they talk about it, and you can see establishing the rules, trading rules, just like we talk about it, minimizing this. And when you talk about, you want to talk about how in your examples, which we did, how were they used? So when I ask you those questions, it's not enough just to put those bullet points, but show that show examples of what we did in the exercises that reflect that. It's the same thing here. What's a trading strategy? How does optimization work? Takeaways from backtesting, how it works. Backtesting is a general method for seeing how well a strategy or model would have done ex post. Ex post means in the past. Backtesting assesses the viability of trading strategy by discovering how it would play out using historical data. And this even here that you can see here, this gives you examples. And what's nice is it has a little thing of what is algorithmic trading. A computer program that follows a defined set of instructions, a place to trade. In theory, can generate profits at a speed that's impossible for a human person. It's defined based on timing, of course, price, quantity, or any mathematical model. We used a very simple one. And notice here, it says buy 50 shares of a stock when its 50-day moving average goes above the 200. In our case, it was a 10-day moving average that moved goes above R25. So you can see this 50 and 200, it's just the same thing. And sell shares of stock when its 50-day moving average goes below. So this is a rule right here. The same as what we did in ours. The only difference is what, Samuel? Is in ours, we, instead of 50, what did we use? 10. And instead of 200, what did we use? 25. But later on, we could have used 50 to 75 for our optimization, and we could have used 100 to 200. Find me the best one, and if it takes a couple minutes, what do I care? It's better than I do all those different combinations. So, Ava, is there something in the chat that I need to answer?
No.
Okay. Are there any other questions that you want me to go over? So, Liam, did you finish up the homeworks for both?
Sorry?
Did you finish your homeworks? The
For,
exercises?
For the one that's due today, no.
What do you have left to do? Have you attempted it?
I didn't realize there was something due today. I'm doing it after class. You said it was due on at midnight, right?
Yeah, but it was due at the time of the class. So what were you, what, you didn't realize it was due?
No, ma'am, but you extended it
Well,
to
why? Do you know that you were supposed to look? Do you know there was an exam for this Wednesday?
Yes, ma'am, I knew that.
And what do you think the what's due section is for?
Knowing what's due.
Okay. And when will I be available?
After class and after your next class, sorry. You said 7:50.
And where will you find that link?
It's the same link for this class, right?
No.
Sorry. Where would I find that?
Well,
Sorry.
go to announcements right now. Any other questions?
Sorry.
Did you get it?
Yes.
Dr. Rush, I
Yeah,
have a question.
sure.
So for for the assignment due today, so for the instrument, I chose indexes. Is that fine, or do I have to choose NASDAQ 100, S&P 500, or Dow
What
30?
kind of indexes? Did it work when you chose that?
I couldn't hear you. I think you're muted.
Did it work? What kind of
I can't-
indexes did you
Oh,
choose?
sorry. Oh, so yeah, it just says when you click down on the instruments, it says like cryptocurrency, DAX 30, Dow 30. But
And what
like
did you choose?
I chose one that says indexes.
Okay, see if it works. It may not work.
It does work. Like I get
Oh, and
information.
what does it give you?
Well, it gives me information, but like the thing, so I was gonna do S&P 500, but every time I run S&P 500,
Yeah,
it
it
just
may be too. So try
crashes.
NASDAQ 100.
Well, the thing is, my group already
Okay,
chose
so
that.
try Dow 30. But you know what? It may even be when you do NASDAQ 100 or Dow 30. See
My
if
group chose
and
those
then
two already.
did you do FX? Is there like FX?
What do you mean is there FX?
Is there like currencies?
Well, so when I chose this one that says indexes,
Yeah.
I think it's just like a combination of like a lot of different indexes. So I
Uh-huh.
see like specific like tickers.
But so do you see symbols that can it
Yeah, I see symbols that like generate like profits and
It does
nonprofits,
generate profits. Okay.
but yeah, it's not like it's not like, for example, like S&P 500.
So what are one of the symbols it gives you?
So for example, my most profitable one
Yeah.
was it was tick, TICK,
Okay.
or vol, VOL.
Okay. So you have to try to figure it out or find something else, but it at least gave you profitable. And what percentage was it? What was your net profitability? If you go
Well,
in descending
for
order,
what? For like the specific index or the whole
uh,
entire?
the specific index.
Well, for that one tick, it was 70.59%.
That's great.
So then that's fine. I don't have
Yeah,
to change.
that's fine.
All right,
And do
sounds
it for back, do it for back test and do it for optimization.
yeah, I did it for back test. I've just been having
And now just do it for optimization.
yeah,
Same
I've been
thing.
struggling with optimization because I've been
Because
trying to
what?
put like the numbers in, like the specific like the numbers for like how fast and how slow.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And like it all shows like
So, okay, so if that doesn't work, then try for the optimization, try the NASDAQ or try the Dow 30.
so
And
I
it'll be
can
different dates. It'll be okay.
so I can use a different
Yeah.
index
Mhm.
first and the second. All right, sounds
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Or go back to the other one. Once you understand, my main goal, Martin, here is that you understand what you did.
Okay, sounds good.
Do you understand? Because even if you did it like, like somebody told you what to do, right? So Liam, like you did that exercise and you really didn't understand what you were doing, it's not going to help you. One, because you won't, it's a defeating of the purpose. Plus, when you have to write about it in the open-ended question, you won't know what you're writing about. Because some of you were saying, oh, I have to memorize. Memorizing isn't going to help you. In the open end, you have to show that you understand how to apply it. You understand, Martin? So if you understand how to apply it, it seems like you got the feel for it. You just wanted to do it differently instead of the NAS, you wanted to choose the NASDAQ. Like the DAX, it may not have like German stocks on it. You know what I mean? So good. And yours may even be different, Martin, because you may be doing it in a different day. Or what'll be interesting is choose a different range, even though other of your folks did the let's say the NASDAQ or they did the Dow, Martin. If you choose different ranges, choose wider ranges. Like choose a range 100 to 200.
Okay,
And the
sounds good.
fast do like 20 to 50 or something.
Sounds good.
You know what I mean? So you'll have
Yeah,
it, you'll come up with different
I'll just
ones.
have different data. Yeah.
You'll have different data. My key is that the data will be different. So you
Okay,
could even do the same ones, just do different data range for your optimization. Use if you use a wider range, then you'll probably get even higher
I was just asking because
profit.
on the PowerPoint it specifically says
Yeah,
to.
right. Ideally, it would be. But for right now, we're limited in time. Let's get it done
All right, sounds good.
and just
Thank
do
you.
a wider one. But it seems
Thank
like you're on a roll on it. Okay, what else do I need to do? So, Luke, are you set?
Yeah, I submitted mine.
Okay, so you submitted everything, so we're here. And you have any questions on the open-ended?
Nope, I'm good right
Okay,
now.
so you basically see it's straightforward.
Mhm.
If you have time and you study, it's the best. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'm
The
gonna study a
open-ended,
lot.
what?
I'm gonna study a lot, promise.
Well, you got to study efficiently. You know what I mean? A lot doesn't, you can waste a lot of time too. So just by, like when people tell me I work so hard, well, it's the question, did we get it done? So just
Yeah.
by working, but it's good idea. It's better that we spend more time than less time, but we want to be efficient. So I suggest in terms of that, another way is to go through those quizzes and also go to the end of the chapter, and look at the that glossary so you can see that part as well. Okay, what else? Anything else? I'm ready. Spencer, do I need to go over anything? I guess not. Okay. So let me share the screen. We'll take attendance and I'll stay with you. If you have specific questions, it's not clear to you. And we'll move on. So what do I need to do? I have to go back to attendance. Check in. Start checking. And stay with me if you need to. Otherwise, you can see me this evening, or otherwise you can see me on Wednesday and everybody's sitting in front of the computer at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.
2100.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, everybody got it, 2100.
Professor,
Yes.
I just have a question. I'm a little confused on the difference between the what's due for the 28th and the 4th.
What's due for the 28th was last week, was just to do with a chart, do a back test on one symbol.
You did it right. I checked your thing. I graded it. You did it right.
Yeah, I just
But
I
now you have to use strategy analyzer. Did you go through the instructions?
yeah, I'm pretty sure I just want to make sure I did the new one right, but I
Did
think
you did you do the strategy? Did you do one for today, Jonah?
yeah.
Did you? So Spencer, if you can check with Jonah and check with him to see if that is
Wait, what am I checking?
did you submit it, Jonah, for today's
Yeah.
assignment
It's in groups. Yeah.
Okay,
in
hold on.
group what?
I'm group 6.
Group 6.
And I
Okay,
think
Sam, do you have a question while he's looking at it?
Oh
I didn't
yeah,
put the
just about the
attendance code.
attendance too.
Why didn't you put the Sam? It's 2100. Can you do
Okay,
it? It should be open
let
still.
me do it now.
Sam, did you get it?
I'm putting it in right now.
Okay. Tell me if it worked. Okay, let me stop recording.